Greetings, I, the War Owl, greets you, and welcome to One More Round, the show where I blabber on about Counter-Strike-y stuff. It's basically just a podcast in disguise. The footage I'm showing you is from a professional player. I'll let you know who sometime during the video. Excuse the giant overlay, that's to block out the kill feed. Recently, some big news rocked the NA-CSGO scene that I'm pretty sure you're all aware about by now because it pops up when you launch the game. Yes, it's that big. A number of professional players at the top level of the NA-CSGO scene have been barred from participating in any capacity in Valve-sponsored events. That means the majors, the 250k tournaments, including the upcoming ESL 1 Katowice. We can expect other tournament organizers and leagues to follow suit. ESEA and CEVO already have. The reason? Match fixing. I spoke about match fixing and referenced this specific instance in a previous One More Round episode, and directed you to the Richard Lewis articles from the Daily Dot. I've also talked about my views of gambling and its influence on the competitive scene, so I'll try not to retrace any steps here. Well, Valve has finally stepped in, looked at the trade histories of the people involved, and confirmed what was going on, and have also taken action to ensure these folks are no longer involved in the CSGO scene. The match in question was between then Netcode Guides and iBuyPower. And the folks implicated in the match fixing who are now barred are Cud, who was probably the one placing the bets, D. Bourne, who Valve has implicated as having transferred the winnings, Casey Foster, who was one of the owners of Netcode Guides. In fact, his name came up when Shazam leaked what was going on, as Shazam, according to the Richard Lewis articles, mentioned it was Casey Foster who told him to change his bet, and implied match fixing was going on. Dazed, who is the other owner of Netcode Guides and the IGL and player for iBuyPower at the time. By the way, how does that happen? How does an owner of a sponsor play against the team he's sponsoring? For any rational person, this just looks like a giant conflict of interest, and from what we see, it looks like match fixing did occur, so I feel like this all could have been shut down beforehand by the leagues and such, not allowing that kind of a conflict of interest to happen, but that's a talk for another day. The next person, unfortunately, is Swag, who was a young, talented player with a bright future in esports ahead of him, and one of the players for iBuyPower at the time. To me, Swag is the only name on this list that surprised me. It's heartbreaking to see such a promising NA star involved in such a shady business. Next was AZK, one of the players for iBuyPower, and Steel, player for iBuyPower at the time, now player for Torqued, and in-game observer for tournaments. He was the guy controlling the camera in this previous MLG tournament, which may have been why Valve waited until after the tournament to release the news. This means the only observing he's going to be doing is from his living room. My reaction to this is mixed. It's disappointing that this sort of stuff is going on at the top level of NA-CSGO, but it's not surprising at all, and I'm excited that it's finally coming out into the open, that folks know finally that there are consequences for this kind of behavior. For a while, especially during the time this story originally broke up until now, I've been very cynical about the NA-CSGO scene because it seemed folks could just do whatever they wanted and just get away with it, just anything because of their pro status. When Richard Lewis first broke the story, he was mercilessly attacked by the NACS scene. They attacked the damn journalist who uncovered it. Talk about shooting the messenger. You folks owe him a huge apology. There's people attacking the folks who facilitate bets. There's people attacking Valve. There's people attacking people like Shazam, it seems, who was, like, I guess the reluctant whistleblower for this stuff. Nobody seems to put any blame on the people doing the match fixing. I'm impressed that Valve has finally taken a stance on this issue and done something about it. The punishment itself, which is being barred from Valve-sponsored events, in my opinion, is very light for what was going on. But really, all that Valve had the power to do. If you look at the monetary value for all the items involved, according to the Richard Lewis articles, it's valued at over $10,000. Just to put that in perspective, if I were to go out in the street and steal $10,000 from someone or steal something worth $10,000, I'd be going to jail for a long time. These kids got off easy, and I sincerely hope for their sake they learned a lesson from it. The biggest issue this raises is the role of Valve in professional esports. I stated publicly before the big reveal that they are the only organization in a position to do something about it. They have an incentive for the game to maintain its integrity, as well as the power to do something about it. They own the intellectual property of the game itself, it's their game, as well as run the system to crowdfund esports events, being the case keys. I hope this is just the first step of Valve's involvement. What I think needs to happen is an establishment of rules that are accepted across all CSGO events. I'm talking stuff we can all agree on, such as no match fixing, no cheating, and no exploits such as pixel walking, no conflicts of interest. Think, if we had this rule set in place before Cologne, Boostgate would never have happened. They also need to have the ability to dole out punishments for breaking these rules, being banned from participating in esports events for a period of time. With this in place, people would be held accountable for their actions. It wouldn't just be public opinion that people are held accountable to, because that hasn't done us so well so far. The strength of fanboyism is unlimited. There are probably still people defending these guys, as I saw on my Twitter feed. Somehow I'm the bad guy for pointing out what's going on. Goodness. Even though I have nothing to do with anything. I don't think that they're interested in doing what Riot does, nor do I think that's really a great idea for CSGO. Valve has always been very open with their product. They allow people to do what they want with it. We're allowed to make monetized YouTube videos of their game, make custom maps and weapon skins, modify the game itself to our liking. They let esports organizations run events that they want. This is all good. It creates a sense of community. Heck, they even design tools for us to use, like the Source Filmmaker. GoTV is designed with content creators in mind. I know because they asked me. This is all great stuff, but someone needs to step up with an organized set of rules. As esports is growing, the money involved is growing, and it's the freaking Wild West right now. We need a damn sheriff in town, and again, I think Valve is the only organization in a position to do this. There is a war being waged right now for the heart and soul of Counter-Strike. The integrity of the game itself is at stake. We've had cheaters at the top level of EU CSGO and strong implications of match fixing at the top level of NA CSGO. I don't know if they've admitted to it yet, so strong implications we'll have to do for now. The world is watching. News articles about CSGO, about esports should be, look at this awesome thing these people are doing. Look at how many people show up to watch people play video games. Maybe there's something to this esports thing. I don't think that this is going to ruin the NA scene. This is probably the best thing to happen to the NA esports scene in a long time. If you're an up-and-coming player, strike while the iron is hot, baby, because there's a few vacancies. Barring these players from participating lends credibility to the game. It sets a precedent. Integrity and fair play, or there's the door. So who's that pro? I gave you an easy one this time. It's Freiburg. Thanks for watching, folks. No goofy ending this time since it's like a super serious video. I'm the War Owl, and I still have no closer. I was serious. There's nothing here. There's nothing back here, so stop watching.